Hello YouTube, welcome to another video for X-Plane 11. Haven't done a video for quite a long time, so I thought it's about time I got another video uploaded, and this one's going to be a video on how to start up the default 737-800, which comes with X-Plane 11. But this is the modified version, modified by a guy called Zibo, who has made an excellent job of adding a lot more systems to this aircraft. And welcome to anybody who's just come across from one of the other sims into X-Plane. A lot of people have moved just recently from FSX, P3D, FS9, etc. over to X-Plane, and welcome to any of you that have moved over, and I'm sure you won't regret the move. I know you won't regret the move. X-Plane 11 is fantastic. So this is the modified 737-800, which comes with X-Plane. This is the Thomson livery, as you can see, and we're currently at Birmingham Airport in the United Kingdom, EGBB, and we're on stands 74. This scenery is UK 2000 scenery, and it's very nice scenery, and it's quite a reasonable price as well. So this is the outside of the aircraft. As you can see, it's very, very good. It's fantastic, in fact. This is a really nice aircraft, and we'll have a look in a minute at the cockpit and see what Zibo has done. Mainly to the FMC, I would say, is transformed the FMC from the stock FMC into something that's really like a Boeing 737-800 FMC should be, along with a lot of other stuff that he's done to make this aircraft a pay-wear quality aircraft. And as I say, it's free, it doesn't cost you anything, it comes with X-Plane 11. So let's have a little look inside the cockpit. Okay, here we are inside the 737. As you can see, we're cold and dark. You can hear some noises in the background. This is it's passengers talking in the background. There is an audio modification as well for this aircraft, which is done by, I think it's Audio Bird. I'll put some links in the description to the Zibo modification and the Audio Bird's audio. And the audio makes the aircraft a lot better as well. Some fantastic audio files for it. So, okay, how do we start this aircraft up? Well, it's quite easy. Let's just have a look at the overhead panel. Nip up to the top there. And the first thing we need to do to get some power to the aircraft is switch on the battery switch, which is hidden under this cover, but if you pull the cover down it will switch the battery switch on. There we go, got some lights in the cockpit now, and just below that is the standby power. Click that across, and also then make sure the emergency lights are switched on as well. That's the first three things to do. Next thing, we've got a external power switch just underneath this blue light here. If we hover over the bottom of the switch with the arrow points down, click that down, and we're now running on ground power. What I normally do at this particular point is just nip up a bit higher up the overhead panel and click on the IRS buttons there to nav. 1, 2, and once we've done that, we'll just bring that back down. We'll nip down to the FMC. This is the Zibo's modified FMC, as you can see. The X-Plane original FMC is quite different, as you're probably aware when you load the aircraft up. Okay, so we'll just clear that message there. We need to set the IRS position, but just before we do that, we need to have a look in this extras button here. Click on that, and others. And what you need to do, or what I would suggest you do, is the alignment time. You can have real, long or short. As you can see now, mine is set to short, so it aligns quite quickly. You can set it to what you wish, but it does take quite a while if you have it on real. So I've set it to short just to save recording time. Okay, go back to the initial ref page, ini ref page, and we need to pop in what airport we're at, which is EGBB. Pop that in, reference airport there. Now you'll notice that this coordinates here is different to the one above. The one above is where the actual aircraft is at EGBB. It's slightly different number, but you need to put that top one in into the scratch pad and then into where those empty boxes are there. If you put the bottom one in, you'll wait well, forever and a day for the IRSs to align. So always make sure you put the top one in, and we now should be aligned. Just click that to route. Let's just have a look at there we go, all lined up nice and quickly. It saves a bit of time on alignment. We'll just clear those messages now. So what we'll do now is have a look at switching the APU on and a few other bits and pieces on the overhead panel. Okay, up to the overhead panel now. What we can do now, we can start it from the left and work our way down each column to the right. We can switch on the yaw dampers, and we can switch on. I've got a black line there. That's just where the way I'm set up in the sim. Let me just get rid of that for a second. Okay, that's better. Okay, switch some fuel pumps on. We can do that now. I'll switch them all on. Nothing in this panel for a second or two. What I normally do next is just go up to the window heats there and click those on. Leave the probe heats for a bit till we start the engines. Come down, switch these middle two electrical switches on, and just across to the, nothing to do at the minute on the air conditioning panel. Just come down. We should have put this on a bit earlier, as soon as we powered the aircraft up. Doesn't matter. Okay, let's get the APU up and running. The APU switch is just there, as you can see. We need to click it to, once click to on, that light lights up there, and then just hold it down on the start position for a few seconds and then loose the switch. And what we should see in a few seconds is this EGT gauge. The needle should rise. I think it usually rises to about 7 and then it starts coming back down again. As you can see, it's just rising now. When the needle comes back down, you'll notice that a blue light will light up there to tell you that the APU is on, and we need then to just switch the APU generator switches down to put the APU on online. So there's the needle starting to come down again. We'll just wait for that to I think it gets to about 2 or something like that, and this light, wait for this blue light to come on, which shouldn't take very long. There's the blue light. That's 1, that's 2. Okay, we're now running on APU power. What you can do now is this blue light, I think it's always on, the ground power light, but we can now switch the ground power switch off, and although the light doesn't go out, I'm not sure whether that's normal in the real aircraft, I don't know. But we're now running on the auxiliary power unit. So what we can do next at this stage is have a look at a quick program of the flight management computer. So we'll just go down to that. There we go. Okay. Now we need to pop a route in. Now you can save routes into this aircraft. I use a flight programming software called EFAS, E-F-A-S-S, EFAS, which is excellent flight programming software. You can use whatever software you want, and just save the route into Explain's nav data routes page. Now, I think I've got a route saved from we'll go EGBB to EIDW, which is Birmingham to Dublin in Northern Ireland. Now, if we pop that into the co-route line just there, now it has gone in. I would have thought this execute light, you can't see it very good at the moment because it's a bit dark, but there's an execute light there. I would have thought that should light up as soon as you put that co-route in. It doesn't matter anyway, because if you look on the legs page, the route is now there. So it's popped the route in. We can put a departure in. The first waypoint was WHI, so we can pop in depart from runway 33, and we'll look for the WHI, which is a 4D departure. Pop that in. You'll notice now the execute light has lit up, so we can click that, go back to the legs page, and it's put the departure in. We can now go into the ref page and put the fuel weights, etc., into the aircraft. It does them automatically. We just put a reserve of, say, 1 and cost index of whatever you want to fly with, and an altitude cruise. We'll do a 15,000. That'll do. Execute that. N1 limits. We don't need to touch this. I think you can derate the engines, but we don't need to do that for this tutorial. Takeoff. We put a flaps 5, and we can click on the V speeds. It puts them in automatically for you. 130, 142. So that's we're finished with the FMC for now. So we can go and have a look at starting the engines. See how we start those. Now, just before we do start the engines, I think we'll just have a look at the map display, just to show you that the route, all the waypoints have gone into the map display there, and if we just click on the change the distance in the map, you can see all the waypoints are there. Top of climb is there as well, and top of descent just up there in the green. And of course we can switch it to plan, and we can use the FMC to step through each waypoint to check that there's that the plan looks okay and there's no discontinues in there at all. So that's very nice. Okay, so let's have a look at how we start the 737 up, get the engines on the go. Let's go up to the overhead panel now, and just click that to auto. Right, what we need to do now is we've got the AP, we're running on the APU. We need to switch on the APU bleed, which is that one there, and the 2 engine bleeds can come online as well. What we need to do is switch the left pack and the right pack off, because we want the air from the APU bleed to go to the engine fans to spin the fans up to get the engine started. So we put the bleed on, packs off, and we can now look at the engine start panel, which is just there. This switch, you can leave it to both, doesn't really matter. We can just have it to right or left to start each engine, but I'll leave it in the both position. And we can just now click the right engine switch to ground, nip down to the somewhere by the pedestal, and we need to watch this gauge here, the N2 gauge, and normally I put some fuel in when it gets to about 15, and there's the fuel switch there, and we should see the engine EGT start to rise, which it is there. And if we just nip up to the overhead panel, this switch should then click back to auto as it has now, and the blue generator buzz for the right engine comes on to tell you that we've got power for the engine. We can switch the generator for the right engine down to generate power to the aircraft. Same procedure for the left engine. Click it to ground, head down to the pedestal, watch this gauge here, gas to 15, put some fuel in, and you can see the engine EGT starting to spool up there, and the switch, let's just switch back to auto. Blue lights on the left engine generator bus, so we can pop that online, and as you can see now we're running from engine power. We don't need the APU. The APU light bus has come on there. You can switch the APU off now. It depends, some airlines like to leave it on until the aircraft has taken off and got in the air. We can leave it on for now, it doesn't really matter. But that's the engines up and running now, and we are running off engine power. I'll just have a look at the lights. Got quite good lighting system in as well. If we it's a bit dark here at Birmingham today. We can switch some put some lights up there so we can see what we're doing. Fantastic aircraft, the 737. It really is. We have got we can put the probe heats on now. Now we've got the engines up and running, and we can also switch the bleed off and put the packs back to auto. Yeah, there's a lot of lighting in the aircraft, so it's very detailed as well, as you can see. It is payware quality without a doubt. Now this aircraft is really good, thanks to Zibo and Audio Bird. The co-pilot's FMC is still work in progress, so you know he's working on this daily. There's updates on this aircraft almost every day. I'll put a link in the descriptions to Zibo's forum page where you can have a look, where you can download the update for the 737-800. I really recommend you get the modified version, because it really adds a lot to this aircraft, and you'll really enjoy it. So thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Perhaps we'll do one next time on do a short flight in the 737. So see you next time.